Hi everyone, Zaras here with a new strategic video on Terra Mystica. This one will be about Terra Mystica's economy. And the reason why I've decided to do a video about this topic is that when I kind of figured out a bit more how the economy works in Terra Mystica, it really helped me to improve my game, so hopefully it can have the same effect on you. Um, so how exactly the economy in Terra Mystica works. So compared to your usual snowball economy game, usually you have like coins that you use to build structures, and those structures will give you coins that you will use to build more structures, and that's how the snowball is going. That's how, for example, Monopoly works. In Terra Mystica, it's a bit more complicated because of two reasons. Because first of all, you have different structure, different resources. So you don't just have coins. You have workers, you have priests, you have power, you have spades. So those are all kind of resources that you need to manage. And secondly, because there's kind of interesting mechanism built into the game to slow the snowball economic game that you're trying to build. And once you've understand this mechanics, it's easier to know what's the optimal way to build in order to have the best economy. So we'll start with the question of the different resources you get in the game. This First of all, this raises the question of what's their relative value, what has the most importance. And one way maybe to think about it, well, the first way you will think to compare these different resources is use the power chart that is built into the game. So as a free action during your turn, you can always transfer either 1 power for 1 coin, 3 power for 1 worker, or 5 power for 1 priest. So you may think that this gives you some kind of idea on how resources compare with one another. Actually, I think that this chart, I don't know if it was intended to or not, but it's misleading because the values here are not accurate. For example, if you follow these values, it seems that 1 worker will be equivalent to 3 coins. But if you get a bit of experience in the game, you'll soon realize that 3 coins are much more valuable than 1 worker. So how exactly the different resources compare with one another? I have drawn this following chart here. I'll give you the reference of how I arrive at these values. The idea here is, of course, that those are literally general guidelines. It's the different relative value of the different resources will be very context sensitive. It will change depending on which stage of the game you are. But just to give like a general idea, general guidelines, I've drawn up these numbers. I will say that roughly a worker worth 2 coins. A priest is a bit less important than 2 workers. Actually, priests are better in the early game, but still, generally you could say that the priest is a bit less than 2 workers. A priest again is a bit less than a spade, and a spade is a bit less, is less than 4 coins. So once we have like these kind of general guidelines, it's interesting to actually consider the power action that you can do in the game and reflect on which one is better. So if 1 worker, for example, worth 2 coins, and if a spade worth a bit less than 4 coin, it's easy to see that the 4 worker action and spade action are not actually that good. If you compare them to the coin here, it's clear that these 7 coins are a lot more valuable than the spade or the 2 worker action. Of course, the 2 spade action is a lot better than the 1 spade. It's a lot more efficient to take. So the 2 power action that are by far the most important will be the 2 spade action and the 7 coin action. So that's like the first take we can get on how resources compare with one another. And it already gave us some kind of guideline on how we should spend our action, our power action. Clearly, the 7 coin action is really important. This 2 spade will be a bit more efficient. Now, if you look at this image, so that's like I've taken the witches because it's kind of vanilla, a kind of vanilla faction board. And what I wanted to point out, it's obvious, but it's important to realize and weigh the implication. So the idea in Terra Mystica is that you don't build dwellings and then build other structures, say trading posts or temple. You just build dwellings and then you upgrade dwellings to trading posts and then you upgrade those to other structures. Why this is important? It means that, it means that when you actually upgrade a structure, the only way to get a trading post or a temple, you lose the income from the dwelling in order to gain different income. So in this case, if you upgrade, say, a dwelling into a trading post, you lose the worker income to gain the 2 coins and 1 power. Now, that's where things get interesting, and where you kind of get some guidelines on how to play. If a worker is roughly worth 2 coins, it means that when you upgrade your dwelling into a trading post, you don't gain much. You pay a lot. You pay almost twice as much as it costs to put a dwelling down, but you don't get a lot of return more. You get basically the same return, just 1 power more. Meaning that building trading posts is not really growing your economy, it's just diversifying it. We'll see that is kind of specific to the trading post upgrade. The temple upgrade has more importance, has more reason to be built. But if we talk just about upgrading dwellings to trading posts, you're not really growing your economy, you're diversifying it. So if we think of why you will build a trading post, we have 1 reason here. So either to diversify, and sometimes it's important to diversify, but either one to diversify, either in order to get, if you have already a dwelling on the board, maybe you want to build one in order to build more dwellings. And of course, then the trading post is giving you 2 coins and 1 power straight, because otherwise you cannot build any more dwellings. So the last dwelling doesn't give you an income. If you have a dwelling on the board and you upgrade to a trading post, then you clearly win 2 coins and 1 power without losing anything. So then the trading post is a valuable structure to build. So that's 2 reasons. And the third reason that we will come back to is in order to, it's the trading post being just a step before building either the stronghold or the temple. And in the early game, that's often why you will build trading posts. So you will trading posts, but you don't intend to leave them there. You intend to just, it's just a step in your turn toward the temple and the stronghold. So what does that tell us about how we should play? It means that generally a good economy will basically be based on dwellings and very little on trading posts. So I think it's interesting to come back to this question just in a bit after we consider the temple and the sanctuary. So we say building trading posts for a reason, diversifying, leaving more place for building more dwellings, or in a way to a stronghold or a temple. I won't talk much about the stronghold because it's too faction sensitive and I want to keep this video very general. But if we think about building a temple, is it the same thing? Like, is it not very interesting in terms of economy? Well, so the problem with building a trading post is that you lose the worker income and win something that is almost equivalent. What about the temple? You lose 2 coins and 1 power, but you gain a priest and you gain a favorite child. How does that compare to what you lose, the 2 coins and the 1 power? An easy way to do this is to think that there is actually some economy favor that gives you some coins. So that gives an easy way to compare the income from a temple to the income of a trading post. This is Fire 1, so this favorite child that will give you 3 coins. So if you say you build a temple, you always, almost, I mean, I have never seen a situation where Fire 1 was not available. So you almost always have the option to take Fire 1. Fire 1 will give you 3 coins, which means that compared to 1 power 2 coins, it's already a little improvement. I mean, you already have a little more economy, and you also get a priest, meaning that going from a trading post to a temple with Fire 1 is a clear improvement of your economy, much more so than improving a dwelling to a trading post. Now, of course, often you will take a different favorite child, either Earth 1, Water 1, or another economic favorite child. But what it just means that you think in this context, this favorite tile will give you more overall than Fire 1. So you could have always at least an improver of economy, but sometimes you will choose to trade off this better economy for a point machine, say by example by picking Earth 1. And actually, if you consider the sanctuary, you'll realize that it's not such a bad building as you might think initially in terms of economy. The thing is, I remember when I was learning the game, I thought that the sanctuary was kind of useless, that it didn't give you a new income. You had a priest with a temple, you kept the priest, and therefore building a sanctuary looks only kind of way to build a town with only 3 structures. But actually, the fact that if you consider the fact that you're not losing anything from building a temple to a sanctuary, so here you are losing a worker to gain coins, and here you are losing coins to gain a priest, and here you don't lose any priest when you build a sanctuary. Just that might make the sanctuary worth because of the favorite child you're picking. So you're picking, say, 3 coins by turn as an income, and you're not losing anything. And just that means that the sanctuary is actually not a bad economic building. Actually, it's something that you can very well consider in round 2 to decide to upgrade your temple to a sanctuary just to pick an economic tile. And the reason for that is that, well, you don't have to, say, upgrade another dwelling to a temple and thus losing a worker income. So the fact that you're not losing anything from upgrading a temple to a sanctuary made the sanctuary actually an interesting building, even in economic terms, to build early. So if we try to find a kind of conclusion to this video, we've considered the different structures and their different value in terms of economic. What you get is that you really want to build your economy on dwellings and on worker income in terms of structures. So you'll try to find a way in order to get as many dwellings as you can on the board early. That can be done very efficiently with a dwelling rush by taking the double spade and using the double spade combined with the shipping bonus to get to 7 dwellings, maybe sometimes even 8 dwellings, and get 8 worker income. So dwelling rush are really efficient because you don't spend much, you just spend the double spade and you get a bunch of dwellings on the board. That's the best way to build a strong economy. But you don't want to do a dwelling rush every game. It's not possible every game either. Sometimes you will have difficulty to score. Often you will want to build a temple and then use a double spade if you can to build 2 dwellings. As a rule, I would say that in round 1 and 2, double spade is the best power action that you can get. And that's because you're trying to build a bunch of dwelling to build up your economy, because that's the best way to build your economy. As the game progresses in round 3, 4, 5, 6, the most important action will be the 7 coin action, and that's for 2 reasons. First of all, you've try to build as little trading posts as you can, because that's not an efficient building. That's the conclusion of this video. And thus you're trying to get your coins income from other sources, and one of the best sources of coins you can get is this actually. And the second reason is that in the later game, once your economy kicked in a little bit, you want a source of coins to advance shipping, because the most efficient way, the best way to minimize terraforming cost for your dwellings is to actually build free dwellings by reaching to them with shipping. So yeah, what I'm going to do here is give just a kind of example of what I was talking about on the economy, and the best way to kind of give an image of that is to consider a dwelling rush. So a dwelling rush is this opening where you build a bunch of dwelling in the first round. Usually your typical opening is to build a temple in the first round, but in the dwelling rush, instead of building a trading post and a temple, you just build a bunch of dwellings. So in this game, what happens here, I'm playing mermaids against dwarfs, darklings, and fakirs. And I was picking third, my bonus, so second, I was picking the bonus second, and although the spade was still available, I went for the shipping bonus because I thought it was a really good occasion in order to do a dwelling rush. Why did I think that? First, you have dwellings in the first round, which means that we will score points by building a bunch of dwellings. Second, there's a temple event early, so probably it's like, since it is in round 2 or 3, building a second temple is expensive. It will slow down people's economics. So if you want to use this event, it's interesting to delay your first temple until then. So that was the plan, to build a temple, which will be done in the second round. And also I was confident that I could then build some trading posts and build other dwellings on this round, which will be done, and try to hit this round with as many towns as we can. Actually in the game I'll be able to do 3 in round 5, so it's good scoring town that will good scoring track, sorry, that will help us compensate from the fact that we won't be able to pick Earth 1 here. So also you have the dwelling bonus and you have the trading post bonus. Both of them are very good for dwelling rush. The past shipping is always nice for mermaids, but we won't be able to use it as much because we are not starting with a temple, so we won't have much priest to advance shipping. That's more of a different strategy. As you'll see, we'll use much more the dwelling bonus and the trading post bonus. So, alright, let's get to it. So, as you see, everyone start templing up in the first 2 players, but we're going for the double spade. The idea here with the dwelling rush, so we're taking a bunch of hexes, so these 3 and these 2 will be able to build 5 dwellings. And by doing so, we'll get to max income in terms of workers. So we were saying that the best economy is a worker economy based on dwelling building and trying to find other sources of coins. At least here you see that we'll have really a bunch of dwellings on the map to begin with. So that's the plan. So if we continue until the end of the round, we can speed it up a little. We'll just continue with that plan, building a bunch of dwellings. And so we'll have a very good worker income, best worker income we can get. I decided to go on this hex. Maybe it would have been possible to take this one too. I always like to take this one as a more territorial stand. Here we have dwarves. It's very unlikely you will jump there, but maybe you dig this dragon dread in the first round and then it threatens this green at the beginning of the second, so it's kind of safest to grab potentially contested hex first. And this one, I mean, no one will come to threaten anytime soon. Alright, so if we stop here, just a second, yeah. So if we stop here, we've passed, the round 1 is finished, and we've passed for the dwelling bonus. So since we've built a bunch of dwelling, we were able to score a bunch of points with the dwellings we built, but then we will score again with the past dwelling bonus. As you see, we already have a pretty good economy. 9 workers, it's much more, it's the same than dwarves and darklings combined, and it's more than dwarves and fakirs combined. So it's already a very, very good income, and we have still some coins left from round 1, and also some that we've picked with on this bonus. So we're still fine. The plan in this round will be very simple. We'll build one dwelling by hard digging. Since we have so many workers, we can hard dig. We don't want to dig anymore in the short term with power, because we want to save power to convert it into coins, either by the 7 coins action if we can, or just by normal power conversion. So we can go to the end of the round. As you see, we go for a trading post. The only reason we go for a trading post here, well, going for a trading post here, we know that we start to need diversification of our economy, so it's kind of point source, but this is a very, very efficient trading post. As you'll see, our next move will hard dig here, using 3 workers and picking up 2 points, since it's the spade event. So you can see that now we have, for the next turn, still our 8 worker incomes, but we have now 2 coins income from the trading post. So building this trading post here is a very, very different than building a trading post in a different way if you have less dwelling, because if you have, like, say 3, 4, less than 8 dwellings on the board, the trading post gives you 2 coins and 1 power, but you lose 1 worker, so you're not really growing your economy. In this case, we build a trading post and we gain 2 coins, 1 power, and don't lose any worker income. So it's 2 coins, 1 power without any loss. It's much, much better income. Alright. So we have done everything. I have done everything I wanted in this round. See, like, for example, here fakirs will build a trading post too, but this trading post is very different for him. It's giving him 2 coins, but it's taking away 1 worker. So here I have reached a good worker income. I will slowly start to consider scoring as much as possible. So that's why here we'll take the trading post bonus by passing. And the goal will be to build our first temple and pick up water 1 and start scoring by building some trading post. So we get 7 points from all the dwelling we have down. We're taking this bonus. It has 2 coins on it. And here I'm hoping, so dwarves still have a spade that he haven't used. I'm really hoping that he'll give us power, so we can take the 7 coin action in the start of next turn. As I said, we're trying to find sources of coins outside of our building, because we decided to build our economy on dwellings. So what will happen here, you'll see, I can speed up a little. Dwarves will kind of play smart. He knows that I want power, so what he'll do, he'll try to build more here and not build close to us to not give us any power at all. As a result, he's giving a lot of power to darklings, but that's okay, that's fair game. And you'll see we'll go for, next turn we'll go for a very fast town here, going for the 2 key towns. So here, as you see, it went a little fast, but I made this decision to burn power. So it's always a difficult decision to go below 6 power, because it means you cannot use anymore the double speed. But here it was so important to get a source of coins, since our economy was not built around trading posts, which are not efficient, that I thought it was worth going below 6 power coin, thinking that if we have digs, we'll mainly use worker digs if necessary. So got the coin, and as you see we still have 9 coins left. The idea here will be to, since we have this bonus, the trading post bonus, we'll use it to build a bunch of trading posts. At this point trading posts are replacing our worker, but at this point we already have a very strong economy. So since we have 10 workers in the bank and we're trying to continue growing our economy, going for trading posts will actually be a very good way to kind of diversify our economy. So the trading posts we build this round are not really growing our economy. They are mainly in order to score, but also to have a kind of more diverse economy. So rather, now that we have a bunch of workers in the bank, we're trying to have some coins coming up, and also we're trying to free some dwelling space to build in this round. So as you see, the reason mainly we've built trading posts in this game was to free some new space in order to build other dwellings down. Alright, so can go to the end of this round. So first trading post here. Again, we'll build a second one. As you see, although dwarves tried to delay as much as possible giving us power, it was just reporting it sometimes else in the future. He has no choice to build in this area, so I wasn't too worried. I knew that in the end some power will come. It's always better to get it early, but if we have to, we can wait. Right. So, see if I can stop the game here. We are able to pass for 6 points with the trading post bonus, get the dwelling bonus, and keep those 4 workers in the bank, which means that we'll still have a good amount of worker for next round. We'll have 9, but we also have now very good coin income. So our economy is really strong here, thanks to the strategy of starting by building a bunch of worker, and only once our dwelling economy is installed, only then we start building trading posts. And in the meantime, we succeeded, thanks to the way we played the track and thanks to the bonus we picked, to have a huge amount of points. And we're set to build some dwellings, at least 3 in next round, while again using the past dwelling bonus and getting a bunch of getting a bunch of points for it. So if we advance a little here, we have the beginning of the round, and we can see that we still have with everything we have on the board, we still have very strong economy. We are really set to build a bunch of dwellings here. So we have the 9 coins and 9 worker, and we have good position on the map generally. So this round is quite simple. I'll try to expand. The goal is to set ourselves to build 3 towns in the next round. So the purpose of showing this game was mainly to show how to build an economy. Well, as I said, the dwelling rush was a very good way to illustrate the idea that building dwellings first, it's kind of an extreme example of building dwellings first, how it boosts an economy. In this game we're able to do it while scoring a lot through bonus. So the rest of the game is more about converting the big economy we've succeeded to build in order to get as many points as we can in this round. So we're trying to continue building dwellings, but we also keep in mind that we want to be able to build 3 towns next turn. That's the goal. That eventually will be achieved. And as you see, well, to relate to another another topic we discussed in another video, you can see that not having Earth 1 didn't slow our scoring one bit here. We're able to compensate using bonus and playing well the track, making sure that we stayed with a very high point income during the game. In the end, you see fakirs will have also a very strong point machine, have a lot of points too, but we're set to have a very, very good next round with the town tile. We'll be able, as I said, to build 3 towns, and our score will really explode then. So point leader after round 3, pass for the spade. After round 4, sorry, pass for the spade, and now we are all set for scoring. So the idea of building an economy, I think, have been really... If we stop just a second. So you see we still have... I've stopped it a bit late, but we build a sanctuary at the beginning, but even before the sanctuary we had like really strong economy, still our 8 worker economy, and we had 3 trading, still our trading post giving us 6 coins. So certainly certainly the best economy on the map, if you compare to all other players. And our trading posts here are efficient because they are not built at the they don't penalize our worker income since we have max dwelling build. So as a result, you see our strong economy will be able to convert into points in this round, especially by being able to build 3 towns in round 5. I mean, that takes a lot of resources. Sometimes building 3 towns in round 6 is really challenging. Here, with that good an economy, we're able to do it in round 5. So what I'll do, I'll just go to the end of the video. I mean, here it's more like the building of our economy is what get us there. How we convert this economy into coins is kind of a different topic. But you can just watch the end of this round to see how it happens here. So you see we have 2 towns built now. We've picked fire 2, and we'll still have a temple and a trading post to build in order to get to our 3rd town around here with the landscape. So we already have 100 points, and we'll get still another town in this round. So even without, again, to connect with with our other strategic video, even without Earth 1, we had such a good economy that it was not a problem. So we still have the spade that we'll use in order to put the landscape down. In this game I was almost able to build actually a it was kind of thinkable to build 4 town, but if Darkling kind of expanded this way. So let's stop here a little. You see we got to 120 points at the end of round 5. Unfortunately, there's not much left to do in round 6. We almost did everything we could do in the first rounds. What will happen, I won't show you the 6th round for nothing, because kind of the purpose of this video is done. We'll be able to score some points by this bonus that we've picked, but it's almost, our economy was so good that we only needed really 5 turns in this game. So I hope this will give you some example of how to build an economy. Again, Dwelling Rush kind of an extreme example of the idea, but the reason why the Dwelling Rush is so effective is because dwellings are a very, very good way to build an economy. Again, for future, we'll kind of use this as a reference video. One of the thing I want to do will be faction oriented videos, so we'll kind of talk about different factions. We'll see how their different board impact the way you will think of your economy. For example, dwarves will be different because this first trading post gives them 3 coins. So it's those little things we will be able to refer to this video in order to understand how to approach each faction differently. Hope it was interesting video. I hope that you understand it a little bit better now how the economy works in Terra Mystica. So I'll see you hopefully on next Tuesday for our weekly stream. Bye.